Hello, today I am going to share an anecdote from London Theatre with you. This was my technically first professional experience in London. I was at my third year in RADA, or rather in my third year at RADA, and we were almost finished. We weren't up to very much. We'd finished our agents' evening. And as sometimes happens, one of the theatres asked if there were some third year students who might like to do a little bit of work at the Tricycle Theatre. And at the Tricycle, there was a play, and I'm going to put it in the notes what it was, because I've suddenly, in the light and the limelight, forgotten exactly the name of it. But it was what is called a Tribunal play, and the Tricycle has done a number of these, where they're recreating real experiences in government, particularly scandals, that sort of thing, from very detailed transcripts, and then dramatizing that and presenting it on stage. So these were court proceedings. If you're in the States, you can relate these court proceedings to the Iran-Contra hearings. This was based on the real events of the Scott inquiry, which were about government officials involved in arms deals. And Dame Sylvia Sims was in this particular production, as well as a number of other well-known actors of the time. And so I was asked to just show up on the first preview and be the stenographer in the courtroom, not needing any rehearsal, just sitting there on stage and pretending to use the machine. And I said, oh, sure, and I went along. And when I got there, I started feeling quite unwell. And I thought, okay, this is making me feel uneasy. I didn't really know why, and I mentioned it to the actors there. I said, I'm not really feeling very well. I think because I sensed it could be something serious. And Dame Sylvia Sims said, oh, darling, I'm sure it's just nerves. And I in my young, arrogant way, thought, of course it's not, as if I would be nervous going on stage and just pretending to be a stenographer. Of course, I didn't say that. I said, maybe. I don't usually get nervous. So first scene, I am on the stage sitting in the center, and I start to feel unwell in a way I have never before experienced. All over sweat, like I'm going to pass out, and just indescribable. Now, if you've ever had food poisoning, you can probably imagine what I was feeling like. I had never before had food poisoning. But I did have this desperate internal voice that said, get off the stage. However you can, get off the stage. It was a full house at this professional theatre. So I slumped over like that. And there was pause, silence, then laughter. And from a news article after the event, it turns out the audience thought that it was part of the proceedings, and the stenographer had just fallen asleep out of boredom, and that this was a comment being made. But they stopped the show, and two of the actors carried me off stage, and then they sat me down, and then Dame Sylvia Sims, who was backstage at the time, handed me a bucket, and I proceeded to projectile vomit into the bucket. And they were incredibly nice to me. And I was very ill for a number of days, and they had a doctor come to the theatre, give me injections to stop me being sick, and so on and so forth. I won't go into the gory bit. But I didn't actually faint. However, that was a good call. I knew that I had to get off stage, so I pretended to faint. And I don't think I ever told them that I was pretending. Not that I really needed to. They would certainly have preferred me to pretend than to throw up on the stage. And I had had a salad at the greenhouse, just in case you're curious as to why, which was a restaurant down in the basement of what used to be the drill hall on, there's Gower Street, Tavistock Place? No, Cheney Street, West End. And I guess their health practices were not up to par at the time. So that's my story. If you feel that you're going to do something absolutely worse than faint on stage, pretend to faint.